Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. I'm here with Joe, and today we are going to be talking to the PiPhi founders. If you guys have not heard about PiPhi, you're going to hear about them today, and all relevant links should be in the link in the description below, so you guys can check those out. But if Aftermath is ready, we'll bring him in. Can you give us a thumbs up? All right. So
how's it going, guys?
Welcome. Hello.
Hey.
It's nice
I've been watching your streams, so I'm finally on the stream. Finally,
it's nice to speak with you.
Yeah,
voice.
Yeah. Actually, we've been chatting back and forth quite a bit. Joe, nice to meet you face to face as well. I think Kelvin's also going to be here today. Yeah, bring him in.
All right, awesome. Hello, Kelvin.
Hey guys. Hey.
Welcome.
Yeah. Just let me mute him on Discord here. He's on Discord. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. Well, let's get into it.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
Good.
Nice weather out. Get to see the ocean.
Glad the weather's nice for you, because it's not for me.
It is not for me either. I'm up in Canada. The cold Canada weather up here, man. We got ice and snow still on the ground, so
that sucks. The grass is getting green here.
Oh, that's nice. Jealous.
So do you want to get into, I guess we could start off with,
speaking of weather.
Good nice transition. Yeah.
Nice. What got you into crypto? I guess that's like the question everyone asks in an interview. It's like the first thing.
Sure.
Like, how'd you find this space?
Sure. We have a long history, and I'm sure Kelvin can speak to a bit of it too. But I got back, let's say 2019, 18. I was dabbling in the crypto space. I had a brother who was a fanatic for a period of time, who was into Bitcoin and then into Ethereum at a later date. But ultimately, he kind of turned me into a bit of a crypto junkie myself for a period of time. Most of my experience was dabbling in the altcoin space to begin with. And to be honest, the altcoin space has had its ups and downs, as everybody knows. And it was difficult to gauge who was going to be a good project to get into. There was a lot of due diligence that I had to get into in order to define kind of what my niche was going to be in the space. But yeah, I started off, to be honest, I started off with a banger. It was Block Create. I jumped into their Discord. I
have one of theirs.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. I mean, it's nice to have a little bit of light in your life, right? So, but those guys, obviously, something happened with them. I don't even know what they're doing necessarily at this point, but I started off there, and that's where I met a small group of the team that exists today for PiPhi, and we connected on fairly odd things, but we found that each one of us had some different skill sets. So I've been in the IT industry for, well, almost my entire career. I'm probably coming in on 15 to 17 years ish, I would think, in the professional industry on the enterprise side. And we all have day jobs. We are very open about that. And some of the guys came after the fact, but most of us found each other in Block Create. And during that time, we noticed that there was no utility for that token. We figured out, obviously, that it was a dying project ultimately at the end of the day. And we wanted to bring a little life into the project. And that's kind of where our mutual paths cross, because Juice, who's not here at the moment, but you guys have discussed a lot with him.
Long time.
Yeah. All in probably most of the conversations you guys had was in the blockchain bay, or as
Crypto
it
Lab, yeah.
was before, Crypto Labs. And Juice got together with Kelvin. Kelvin started developing what we thought was going to be utility for the block create token. We were actually thinking, a piece of hardware that has some utility that could actually function as a node, or potentially as a miner. We just thought that those ideas were kind of at the forefront of what was happening in the space at the time, and we just figured, hey, maybe we can bring some life back into this project. Ultimately, we found out pretty quickly that if we were going to tie ourselves to a project like that, and they didn't care about their token or their utility or their tokenomics model, that it just wasn't going to align really well for us long term. So if we were going to do something, what were we going to do? And that's kind of what really got me deep into crypto at that point. And I started looking at a lot of the different projects out there. Planet Watch was one of them as a result, Weather XM. And then moving on from that, even into today's day, every day I'm looking at what's going on in the different spaces. A lot of these multi-miners that are coming out are pretty fascinating. So yeah, I have a fascination for crypto simply based on the concept of what it is. And I do believe that there is a true utility for cryptocurrency it may not be a global currency, but it has utility in the sense that it decentralizes, and it takes that responsibility and onus off of a single individual. And I appreciate that. I like the idea of that. And I think that'll be better for this world, this economy, and wherever it's headed now, so that's my story. I'll let Kelvin maybe chime in too, but
yeah, so my story is pretty similar to his. We kind of all met up in Block Create, and originally our idea was pretty similar to the other projects that were out there, like Planet Watch and Weather XM. Let's just make I guess an environmental data collection miner that could possibly add that utility to blocks. But over time, that idea kind of morphed into giving users the ability to add as many sensors as they want from any brand or whatever, and kind of visualize it. We kind of noticed that projects that were out there were kind of taking hardware and in a way scalping or upping the price on it, and really overcharging. And we wanted to make a project that was easy barrier to entry. So that's kind of how the project kind of came about. In terms of me and getting involved in crypto, one of my first purchases was Dogecoin, surprisingly. And from there I just kind of started digging a bit deeper into the space, and I kind of came across Algorand, and I thought the developer experience was a lot smoother than a lot of the other coins out there, and it just kind of took off from there for me.
Glad you brought up Algorand, because it had me a question that maybe I'll ask a little later. I guess I could ask it now. Were you guys exposed to the MyAlgo wallet leak or the wallet hack that happened? Did that affect you guys at all? Or?
No. Well, at least not for me personally in any way, but or the project. At this point in time, we're sitting on testnet, so ultimately the tokens aren't necessarily worth anything, but they are. We'll get into that, how that's going to transition forward, but not me personally and not the project. I don't know, Kelvin, if you were exposed to that. You never mentioned it, so I assume not.
No, I wasn't exposed to it.
Yeah, but I know what was happening there. I mean, that's horrible, and what a horrible way for people to experience a great, in my opinion, what's going to be a great blockchain down the road. I really think it's disappointing to see that kind of stuff happen to all these smaller projects. But everybody's got to protect themselves, protect their wallets. If you don't own the keys, then you don't own the money. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Algorand is a very unique network. It was like the first one that I had to interact with my phone on and scan a QR code, and there was like that separation, which I thought was pretty cool to confirm transactions. I noticed your website, I was just checking it out before the stream. It's changed a lot. You guys have improved on it a lot. Do you guys want to touch on what's been going on the past week? You guys have had some interesting stuff.
For sure. Kelvin can probably talk to the website changes.
Yeah, so there's been a few different changes. We're actually for the past around 5 or 6 months, we've been working on revamping our software and providing a better experience overall. I feel like our first iteration wasn't fully our best, and we've really been working hard to kind of put together that new version. We've also included an affiliate program that anyone can sign up for, and with that affiliate program, you'll be able to kind of get those referral links and help spread the word about the project as well. With the new software, we've got a lot of our users were asking for Docker compatibility, so we've kind of allowed users to kind of containerize the application and access it that way. And what also comes with the application is an open API, if you will, that would allow you to access the raw data of all of your sensors, depending on what sensor that you have connected and you put in. So there's a lot of great changes with our software. So that's kind of what we've been working on for the past 5 or 6 months. We've had a lot of backlash from our community for taking so long, but we've really been, focusing and putting on the work.
So give us a real quick rundown on what the PiPhi project is about, like the entirety of the idea about it, the challenges that you're trying to provide solutions to, just the essence of the project overall.
Yeah, I can probably answer that to some degree here for you guys. PiPhi network was created with the intent of allowing people to centralize off-the-shelf type products into one visible pane, so that you have accessibility to that data and to that information in one central location. One of the problems that a lot of people run into today, and part of what we'll probably talk about also, is we are moving into smart home integrations. And so part of the process in doing that is finding ways essentially to take these off-the-shelf products that people are integrating into their homes today with these standalone visible UIs, and they're having to access multiple applications in order to access the data or visualize that data, or even control and manage those sensors in their homes. So a big part of what we're trying to accomplish here is bringing all of those pieces together so that you have accessibility to all that data in one central location. I think the power of that also allows us to be able to manage and allow for more control of what's happening with that data set that you have. You get to control that data, you own that data. We're not taking the data and telling you that you have to go and access it elsewhere, or you're not necessarily paying for that data either to visualize it in the application itself. So that's one of the things that we're addressing. Second to that, obviously, people are trying more and more now to have more information about what's going on in their home when they're not there. So a lot of people who are working on setting up Airbnbs, or they have remote locations or vacation homes that they're trying to monitor while they're outside of the house or on vacation somewhere else. We're trying to give them the ability to control those devices remotely. So on the docket for us is a mobile app as well that's going to give you visibility into your sensors and what's happening in those locations. Remote access is something that is always something desired when you're talking about smart home integration. So remote access to those devices is going to be huge. And we do expect, based on the multi-platform approach that we're taking, that there will be a larger adoption to the mobile application. But at the end of the day, we're focused currently on that web UI that we have locally on the machine. So, and obviously, you guys know that we've been working on it for so long at this point. There's so many pieces that we want to integrate, and eventually, some of the things that, and to give you a sneak peek or whatever, I'm sure Kelvin can show you what the new UI and the Windows environment looks like. It's exactly the same as what you'll see on a Pi, but you'll see that we have some sneak peek menu systems that will give you a heads up as to some of the things that we're working on. So in order for you to kind of know what's going on, you'll have to check out the app. But basically, our ideal goal down the road here is to allow for automation to happen within your home, within your devices, and allow that type of automation and control, and potentially, and I don't want to say AI at this moment because we'll address that when we come to it, but we've got a lot of interest in that kind of realm of things in the conversations we're having on the dev chat. So yeah.
Excellent. So what kind of data are you looking to collect?
Well, I think that it all depends. Well, we're open to collecting all types of data. We're not just focused on just. I know that we get put into a box, right? We get put into a box depending on the sensors that we integrate first, and I don't want to be rude in saying that we're not interested in that, because that's certainly like all the air element data that's coming out, and atmospherical data. It's great, and we love that type of data. But we're also talking about moving into soil moisture sensors. We're also talking about weather data right now, outside and inside, and we're talking about power and power consumption data, water consumption data. And these are things, honestly, the broader conversation is if we target those categories more broadly, there's opportunity for the individuals that are collecting that data or using that data for themselves to circumvent certain types of expectations from insurance companies, being able to prove out that your house has not had any level of humidity over a period of time, saving you money ultimately at the end. And also for home ownership, inspections that are happening in your homes. Think about it, from that perspective. If we can get into those different categories more broadly, I'm certain that all types of data is going to be on the table for us. And honestly, anything that integrates to a smart home integration in whatever your eyes that is, we're likely going to be open to the idea of adopting it. We've had community members post things that we found interesting and decided, why not integrate it? So if that's of interest to any of the community members that might be in the chat or come across us through this video, drop us a line in the Discord. We're very active in our Discord. Anytime we see things, we're always responding, and we love that interaction. Without the community, we got nothing. So
I apologize if it seems like I'm asking very basic questions, but I think the audience here is very new to this project itself. So trying to lay the foundational groundwork to that. So let's say someone wants to be involved in PiPhi and earning on the network, or just involved in the project overall. What would the first steps for them to be?
Kelvin, let's get him involved.
Oh, sure. One of the first steps would be to purchase a license from our webpage. Once you purchase a license, right now we're working on that support for Linux and Windows. So for Windows, It just depends on what kind of sensors you have. Ultimately, we support the Aware Element, the SenseEdge Mini, the Atmo Tube, which is kind of in beta right now, and then we have the Casa Energy Smart Plug. We have the AHT20 and the PM2.5. So a lot of those are indoor, but ultimately we do plan on, like Aftermath alluded to, going into outdoor. But essentially, you would need one of those sensors, and then if you decide to send data to the network, you would just need a GPS module. I think it's the VK 176, and then that's it, really.
I have links for most of the sensors in the description below, as well as the GPS modules.
If you're on the webpage and you're looking for the supported list of sensors, just check out the light paper. And at the very bottom 2 pages, I believe that we list everything that's currently supported. So,
is the website currently still undergoing changes, as you guys posted in your announcements in the Discord server? I know you were having. It's all live now.
It's live. It's live
Awesome.
today. So.
Oh, cool.
We're pretty happy about it. We're happy about the new changes to it. Obviously, with the affiliate program being introduced, I think that'll be a good success for the community and give back essentially the efforts of the community in trying to spread the word on the project. Like, we're not here, and I think it's important for us to prefix this conversation by saying we're not here for a cash grab. And we don't want our community members necessarily to be in that mindset. There's a lot of good things to come in the project that aren't going to be instantaneous. So we will see a number of things coming out over the coming months that are going to obviously attract more people to the project. But I think once you start to see the smart home integration portion starting to roll out into the app, I think that's when you're going to start to see some real world utility on the basis of the application itself. So yeah, be patient with us. We're working on it.
Definitely looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think one of the things that attracted a lot of attention and a lot of people's interest was the integration with Planet Watch sensors. I forget which type it was that really were no longer applicable to. Pardon?
Aware
elements. Yes.
The awares.
They're no longer applicable to Planet Watch, but could be used with PiPhi. Would you like to elaborate on how that came about and the idea behind it?
Yeah, I think, well, that was the first sensor that we attempted to integrate. And I think it was on the basis of us seeing what was going on in that community at the time. In fact, one of our members was heavily invested in that project. I think he had upwards of 70 to 100 different aware elements that he was trying to deploy from almost like his own business at the time. And so we were very familiar with them at the time, and we knew that this project was struggling. What happened in that scenario, and Kelvin could probably talk a little bit to this as well, but what we identified as the problem was that they were heavily dependent on third-party integration of their cloud services API. So because they were so heavily dependent on Aware themselves, they basically messed it up for themselves. Really, they found themselves in a position where they weren't in control of the product anymore, and the product owners are basically saying, "I'm sorry, we're not going to be playing nice with you guys, and we're gonna turn off those devices, so you're not going to be able to send to your data or send your data any longer." And so they just basically pivoted off of that product just overnight. Like, it was fast and it was dirty, and I think it was intentional that way so that they didn't have to necessarily drag it on or try to make amends. It was clear to them that it wasn't going to be happening. So why wouldn't we want to take a look at it at that point if we were able to circumvent that situation and create our own integration using their local API? It was it was a pretty easy task for us, and it was an easy win just in the start to get some exposure for the project, but also to what we thought was, doing the right thing for their community members and trying to provide them with an alternative, because people were just sitting on $200, paperweights in some cases, because they thought that it wasn't going to have any purpose or utility ever again. So,
and that was great. I really admire that you were able to do that.
They should have done it themselves, if I'm being honest. And I'm not a trash talker. I'm not going to do that. But if they were doing what was right for their community at the time, they should have done that, and they should have figured out a way to do it. But here we are. We did it, and we're more than happy that we've done that. And we appreciate all those members in the community that have brought their wares over. It's great. It's helped with the growth.
I got to say, the setup, if you guys haven't seen, I did make a video converting a SenseCap M1 into a PiPhi device. So there's a couple things I'd like to address that. Firstly, the fact that you can reuse different projects, devices. If they have a Raspberry Pi, you can reuse that and convert it into a PiPhi device. And it was very easy. It took me maybe 15 minutes to get it all said and done. And then the setup on the computer was very, very straightforward. So that was great.
Yeah. I think I know what your follow-up question will be.
Can you guess what it is? Because I just lost.
I think I can, because I know you have been asking in the Discord a number of times about it. But you were asking about the multi-mining capabilities, right?
Yes.
So, yes, we are working on pushing out an image for those individuals that are looking to both mine their helium and then also contribute to the PiPhi project as well. So we're really excited about that, because I think that there's a number of people hurting right now in the helium community, not really happy with some of the returns they're getting off those devices, and they're looking for an alternative way of using those devices. So it's really exciting for us. But there's been a couple things that have changed along the way, including the Solana change that has kind of changed a little bit of our approach. So we have had to take a couple steps back just to make sure that we're doing it the right way, and that we're releasing stable versions. So
yeah, helium has definitely had issues lately.
Yeah. And speaking of like stability and our approach from that perspective, I think it would be good for us to hear from Kelvin just on our approach on how we manage our releases, how we're managing things from the back end, because I don't think that the community really gets a chance to see that on a day-to-day basis. So I think it's important that people that are getting into the project or interested in the project understand our approach holistically from the top down. And Kelvin can probably speak to that.
Yeah. So, our number one priority is stability. So a few changes to the software where that, stability wasn't necessarily there in the previous version was mainly GPS. Getting that GPS lock can be a bit difficult, considering that any small change in positioning can kind of release that lock. So what we've done is on the back end, we've kind of created a caching mechanism, if you will, so that once you have that lock, it'll kind of be pulled back and set up for when you're sending data to the network. And also another issue that was in our previous release was after some time you would stop sending data. We've kind of really addressed that and tried to make sure that on the software side, the uptime is reliable. We've also really tried to focus on sending out email notifications for anything that kind of happens on your system. One of the updates that are coming out in the future will be a bit, an agent, if you will, that will help out with that reporting. So anytime your system goes down, you'll be notified instantly. So, in terms of priority and handling issues that arise, like stability is number one for us.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Yeah, I've been mining the testnet tokens since it's almost going on 3 months in a couple days here, and I haven't had a day where I haven't gotten like at least 20 notifications that 3.1415 PiPhi is deposited. I like that. I like that you guys chose that amount too. I thought that was nice little math.
Yeah, it was definitely something we had to do, and honestly, we're moving over to Mainnet it's going to be a challenge, I think, to continue to be able to use the same distribution numbers. We've found that there's definitely going to be a little bit of a challenge there, although we will continue to try and integrate that wherever we can, everywhere we can.
Speaking of testnet, or speaking of the mainnet, I'm curious to know if you guys have a plan on when you're going to make that transition, if it's going to be this year, and if so, like when.
Yeah, we are definitely moving towards it. One of the things that I was hoping Kelvin would touch on is that we won't do anything or push out anything or force anything for the project if it's not going to be good for the project in that moment in time. If we're not confident that what we're about to release is 100% there and acceptable to us, and we've gone through a vetting process of the software, and along with that, the tokenomics model is so important. So we've been working on that nonstop. I'll be honest, in the background, you guys don't even know what's been going on, but we just saw an example of something that we're going to be utilizing at our mainnet release that is going to ensure a very confident release on the tokenomics model for us to sustain the project. And I think the sustainability model, it needs to be in place first before we can tell you that Mainnet's coming. But what I can tell you is that we have put it on our roadmap for this year. So, and we haven't not met a goal yet that we've set in front of us. So that's the plan.
Yeah, I noticed with PiPhi in particular, comparing it to other projects, you guys are very articulate. I guess that's the right word. You're making sure everything is working, and then you're releasing it, and you're not stepping too far out ahead of you. You guys know where to set the marker and where to stop. And I really appreciate that, and I'm sure a lot of people in the crypto space will. People watching this now and in the future, that you guys aren't just trying to push something out because the community wanted it by Friday. You're making sure if it's actually ready by Friday, it's going to go out on Friday.
Yeah, we're not in a rush to mainnet. We just witnessed something pretty horrible with some other aware element users just recently, and we watched it start. We watched it to where it's at now, and we're so confident that we just cannot we cannot let our community down like that. So we're so confident that our approach is working, it's working right, and we appreciate the patience from the community. I think it's really important to be engaged with them and have all that feedback, but we'll never put the project at risk for the sake of pushing timelines forward. That's just not how we function. And all decisions that are made from a roundtable perspective. All the members and founding members, we feed off each other's responses, but we also make those decisions as a collective. There's no one individual that vetoes everybody else in this project. And I think that that's been a huge part of what's had a lot of success on the back end, and why this project's still going to this day, is that we're not only working together, but we're also all friends, and we just hang out and get to know each other really well. There's always room for arguments, but for the most part, we do a good job of separating that. And our decision-making process, we're pretty proud of that we can do that without a whole bunch of rifts between members. It's been really, really good.
Yeah, it's more of a build it and they will come kind of project,
Yeah.
which is Nice.
That sounds like Juice. That sounds exactly like him.
Flux talks about that a lot too. It's just like,
oh yeah,
work on building a solid foundation, and the rest will take care of itself. So
I would agree.
I'm curious to know what your guys' roles are in PiPhi, because I know you said you work in IT for pretty much your whole career, but what is your role in PiPhi and Kelvin's and the other people that were unable to make it here tonight? Like, how do you guys all coordinate everything?
I personally deal with security, the networking, and system infrastructure for the most part. But I do wear a lot of different hats. I will get into the nitty gritty with troubleshooting and support, and I think we all wear a lot of different hats. But my primary role when I was brought on was bringing in that infrastructure. So all of our private cloud infrastructure.
How many people are there in the PiPhi team right now?
There are 5 founders, and there are, Kelvin, help me out, man. Let's see.
There's about 8 of us. I mean, especially over the new year, we've kind of grown a little bit in terms of adding new members and new resources to the team to kind of help facilitate things. I take care of the development aspect, and like Aftermath has said, I wear different hats. I'm on the business end, speaking the tokenomics aspect while working on the development, documentation. So, but my primary responsibilities are development.
Awesome. Yeah, I know Rob is a part of the project as well.
Rob's been a great addition, man. We all love Rob.
I see him everywhere.
Yeah, that's the thing about him. He's everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's, we brought him on, and he just out of the gate just was making all the difference in terms of the exposure to the project. He's been a catalyst for us in talking with any of the content creators that we're discussing with. He's got great ideas for the project. He's been a great asset for us, and I can't say enough good things about him.
So he's more the social side and kind of marketing is what it seems.
Yeah, he would be essentially your marketing sales director, essentially for the organization. He has been doing a lot of work related to the affiliate side of things on that rollout, and then in addition, a lot of the documentation you guys see, including even the light paper. He had a big part in that as well. Putting that together. He's just been a really good contributor to the project. It's good.
Grumble.
Yeah, he's Grumble has been an important part. Well, he's been around almost as long as all of us founders. He was one of the last ones to come on though, but his role is more on the business side of it, and more specifically, when we were looking at the legal ramifications for things, he was out there getting us in front of lawyers and getting us talking with the right people and the right resources. As an entrepreneur himself, he's definitely been very helpful in some of the directive portions for the business, on where we should be taking it and where we should be careful and tread lightly here or there. It's been a good relationship.
It's awesome. And then Juice doesn't really do anything.
Nice. He just kind of hangs around and just stirs up stuff in the Discord, right?
Exactly.
No, Juice has been an integral part of the whole entire organization, and just he's the guy that ended up putting everybody together. Ultimately, it was his idea, and he's a very smart, very intelligent person. He's without a doubt one of the most articulate people on our staff, and we appreciate him and his input on everything as well. And he's just been so integral to where we're at now, and a big component of it. And honestly, he's the one that has kind of put together the structure of how we do business internally and externally. And I think he's been so good to us in that regard. It's been great working with him all these months, years. Well, year
Yeah,
and
it's been
3
crypto
months.
ages you, so
Yeah, exactly. I saw some other questions too, like alluding to some other members that are no longer with the project. We definitely have come out way stronger since those times. And to be honest, the development couldn't have gone any better over this past 6 months. And kudos to Kelvin. He's been so good to us. So
yeah, it seems like you guys really hit the gas the past couple of months here.
we did. Well, we basically tore it down. We tore it down. Basically, the version that everybody's running right now is going to be a legacy version. Eventually, we're probably going to move away from that version, and for a few reasons. And actually, Kelvin, you should probably speak to that new feature that we've just introduced into the new version, and why we're moving away from the old version.
Yeah, so there's a few different changes with the new version. The old version kind of relied on you, I guess, in a way, running a separate application, Grafana, to kind of visualize the data. With this new version, we actually have, I guess, native embedded graphs. So there's no extra logging in that you need to do. There's a bunch of different changes. The old version. The old version, the old version isn't really as stable. We've fixed some things with the auto updater that I guess allows for more consistent and clean updates. You can, like I said earlier, you can kind of Dockerize and containerize this, so you can pretty much run it anywhere, essentially.
Yeah.
So with this new version that you guys are planning on to release, or has it already been?
It's released now, so that's
Okay.
what we've been ramping up for this past week, was this release. And to be honest, we didn't make a whole bunch of hype about it. I think because we wanted to make sure that if there were any bugs that were found early on here, that we had an opportunity to address those. As far as I understand, Kelvin, there's not been too many bugs or hiccups. It's just been a couple questions here and there that we've been seeing from the community. But yeah, it's released, and we're pretty excited about it.
I'm still getting the PiPhi received, so I guess
That's
it's
good.
working. Yeah,
That's
just wanted
good.
to check. I have just notifications galore. It's nice. I miss that. I used to get notifications for other projects, and it's like it's a good feeling to know that no matter what, there's some constant in my life.
Yeah, no doubt.
Guaranteed some PiPhi.
Yeah. I also saw another question in the chat there that I was going to answer. There was a question about what differentiates us from other data collection projects, and I think it's, I mean, if you look hard enough, it's pretty self-explanatory. But what our goal is to gather more than just one type of data. A lot of these data collection companies are choosing one sensor or one type of data, and they're putting themselves in that box. Let's throw Planet Watch out there as an example. They're getting air quality data, indoor air quality data, and they're not expanding their reach in terms of the data sets that they're getting. What also sets us apart is we're very, very serious about the integrity of the data. So the reason that we put the GPS on there is so that we can avoid some type of spoofing that's going to happen. If you wanted to go to AWS today and stand up a server and connect your Aware element, you can do that, but you can't send it to our network unless you got a GPS dongle attached to your device. So if you want to play the system and that, we've taken a lot of steps on the back end to ensure that the integrity of the data is very real, and that geolocation of that data is reported on the H3 hex system that we have on our Explorer. And all of that to say, I don't think that other companies that focus in one specific category are at any disadvantage. In fact, in some cases, that can be an advantage. We made it harder on ourselves to spread our you know our selection of sensors to integrate onto our system, and it's made it harder for us. But we believe that that's the right thing to do, because I think if we're going to do the smart home integration eventually, and that's another piece to it, I don't see them doing anything to that degree, or any type of automation with the sensors that are being integrated onto the platform. Those are the things that set us apart today, and I think will continue to reward us in the long term. So
That's awesome. Looking forward, so we're in March of 2023. Do you guys have, I know the Windows release is live today, am I correct? Okay.
it is.
So I'm excited to check that out. I'm definitely going to be making a video on
Kelvin
that.
can probably show a little example if you guys want.
Sure, yeah.
Is he able to share on here? Oh, okay. He's not prepared. He's not prepared.
No, not prepared today. But
I mean,
yeah,
what we could
Windows version. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say what we could end up doing is anybody that is interested, you guys can join their Discord server and you guys could maybe show a preview there or something like that. And 100%. As well, I will be making a video on the Windows version, so you guys will be able to check that out.
Awesome. Yeah, that'll be great. Your videos are awesome. They're always very detailed, high quality. Really appreciate those. Those are great.
Thank you. It's nice to hear that.
Yeah. No, everybody needs to hear it.
Looking forward for the rest of 2023 and I guess beyond, but in the near future, let's just go with 2023. What are some other major things that you guys could share that you might bring on to the project, or that you're looking to bring on, or that is like a guaranteed, but you still got to work on it?
I think you're probably going to see a lot more effort put in once we know that this release is stable. You'll probably see a lot more effort put into the mobile side of the application. And I don't want to reveal too much related to what's going to be on that mobile application, but Kelvin's already shown me a few little things, and I'm super excited about it. So yeah, keep an eye out for some updates on that for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, it would be nice to have a PiPhi logo on my home screen.
Yeah. Well, I can get you one right away.
So, as far as the application, I know you guys don't really want to get into it too much, but are you planning on launching on iOS versus Android first, or are you going to launch them at the same time? Because I know it can be tricky.
Kelvin?
It can be tricky. We plan to try to release both of them at the same time. We're still a bit early into our mobile app development. But the plan is to try to release both of them at the same time.
Awesome.
Yeah, that'll be the plan.
It's weird in the crypto space because most of the people that are doing this kind of DIY mining are on Android, but traditionally everyone is more of an iOS thing. So that's why I wanted to ask that, because I've been on both of them for a long time, and pretty much the only reason why I go to iOS over Android is it's just easier for me, for the people that want to talk to me.
It's funny. I was
not
just
my first
talking
choice
about this today. The ecosystem, once you're in it, you're stuck in it, you know?
Yeah.
Once you choose a phone, anyways.
Yeah, I mean,
that's how I feel. That's
air tags and my power beats, like it just all works so well together.
Yeah.
And FaceTime is nice.
That's nice too, yeah.
So I guess if you guys have anything else you want to say.
No, I think we just really appreciate you guys even having us on. From a Ask Me Anything perspective, I would love to know if there's burning questions out there as well. Like, we're always engaged in Discord, so don't hesitate to chime in or tag us out there. But we are super excited for this upcoming year. We know that the community's been fantastic to us. And we would love to just do even more hangouts like this with you guys, just to even talk about other subjects. I mean, it's nice to talk about yourself, but sometimes it's fun to talk about other projects that are out there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do frequent, I guess, live events in the Discord pretty often. I've seen.
Yeah, we try to keep it active, right? We'll run events, and nice thing with Discord right now is that they'd have that new event management little integration now.
Yeah.
So you can actually run events or schedule events, and people can see what's upcoming as well. We don't have anything scheduled, I don't think, right now, but we without a doubt are looking forward to this upcoming year because we like running competitions. We like running giveaways. We do a lot of those, so keep an eye out for those too. But we're without a doubt looking forward to this upcoming year. It's going to be so good. We're excited.
What would these giveaways entail? Would they be licenses, sensors?
We've given away full packages with a license, Pi, a sensor, all the cabling to go along with it. We've done another one where we gave away a sensor and a wear element. We've also done another one for an activation contest because we knew that people were holding on to their licenses for a while. I don't know why people were doing it, but people were holding on to their licenses. Maybe they thought they were going to be able to turn around and sell them real quick or something. Who knows? But they were just not activating. So we were like, well, we'd love to see all these people on the network. So we ran an activation competition where we gave away, again, another full Pi setup. And so with the new Windows version coming out, I'm sure you'll see something pretty soon that'll be more geared towards the Windows setup.
That's awesome.
I think you'll see some stuff like that. Oh, and I forgot to mention, we also have a part of our team. His name's Ryan, and he does all our graphic. Sorry, not all our graphics. He does all of our 3D printing designs. So for those of you that are interested in trying to get a hold of something for those BME 680 sensors or for the MCP 2221 adapter, just ping T Porter in our Discord, and he should be able to coordinate something for you because he's got these really cool little cases for those devices now. So
I'm glad you brought that up because that was actually going to be one of my next questions was for 3D printing. Do you guys have, like you just mentioned, these sensor cases? Are they going to be on the website, or is that just going to be a Discord thing? As well as, do you plan on making some Raspberry Pi cases? I know there's tons of them out there, but do you guys have any like custom ideas?
We had some early on ideas of Pi cases. I think that's a great idea. I think we'll definitely want to post some of these on the website. It was originally, I think the issue that we were going to have was logistics on how many are we going to get ordered, and are we going to be able to, get them out in time, and or is it going to be just something that we can't do with excellence? And that's always something we consider. But as soon as we have, well, here's the thing, he just managed to get another printer, but this one's like a nice resin printer, so it's a lot faster for him to churn things out. So I think that you'll start to see us put some more products on the webpage itself.
Awesome.
And links to those pieces of hardware. And yeah, that's a great idea, the Pi case. We had a few concept designs for the Pi case that we actually released and I think we just gave away the design for people that had 3D printers. So if you want those, he might even still have them. So go ahead. And
I have a 3D printer. Maybe I'll try printing them.
Yeah, it would be good.
Trying to see if there's any other questions. Some of these we have already answered, but Trillion Capital asked about a possible refresher on tokenomics. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys plan on changing the tokenomics for the mainnet. So right now it's kind of just.
We are going to do that. So the way the tokenomics are planning to be rolled out, and the specific numbers I can't tell you right now, but I can tell you guys from a high level view of what we've discussed internally and what our plan is. This could change before mainnet, but I just want to be clear about that. So the ideal situation for us in the tokenomics model, and that's a great question, is that the categories that we're putting out there for you to be able to have different sensors in. For example, we have indoor, outdoor, energy, water sensors. Each one of those will be formulated into a category, essentially. And I don't want to get I don't want to lose anybody, but each category is going to be worth, let's say, 1 point. Okay, so you'll have 3 points. 3 different categories is our plan initially on Mainnet. And each of those categories will have a list of sensors under those categories. And in order for us to incentivize people to diversify the data sets that they're going to be contributing to the network, what we're doing is we're breaking it out as a percentage of that one total, right, for each of the sensors in those categories. And as we continue to build out more sensors and add more sensors, those percentages are going to scale and change a little bit as time progresses. So the incentive is there for you to earn the max amount of rewards in those categories to equate to the 1 or the total of 1. And each of those will total 3 as a perfect score. Well, we'll see if we can make it happen. Yeah,
that will be tough. That's a lot of fractions.
That is a lot of fractions. We want to try and make it easy enough for people to understand it, but also try to find a way to incentivize people to continue to add different types of sensors to their PiPhi network device.
Absolutely.
I think it'll be helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I have a BME and an aware element, but as soon as you guys add something for water, I mean, I'm in.
Yeah, I think it'll be great. And when we get that smart home integration, that's the piece that's going to tie it all together for everybody. And so, yeah, we're really excited about what the future has in that regard. And the tokenomics model is built to incentivize people's contributions. So, and that's what it's all about. We're all trying to contribute to this project,
Awesome. Joe, do you have anything else any other questions?
Or a question?
I do not. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you guys a lot for coming out. And if you guys, like I said, if you guys are interested in any of their information, it should be in the description below. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, because then once you go onto their websites or the Discord server, there's a lot more information. I did make a video converting a sense cap, like I said earlier, into a PiPhi, as well as just like an overview of the PiPhi. And there's definitely going to be more videos on my channel in the future about PiPhi, so stick around for those. But do you guys have anything else you want to say about PiPhi?
No, thank you for putting this together, Chris. And we're just so happy to be here and be able to tell our story and our direction and the goal of the project,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening in the future. It's kind of the bear market right now, so there's not a lot going on activity-wise, but projects that are building themselves right now are setting up a really good foundation for when the bull market comes back.
Yeah, we've been talking about that. The timing might be really good for us in this year. So yeah, that's awesome.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and subscribe to Joe's channel as well. You guys already know who he is if you're watching this, but I'll keep it in the description below, as well as all their socials. Thank you guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.